being here and in the lands of the unceded territories that I've learnt since I've been here, the sovereign unceded territories of the Squamish, Musqueam and Tsleil-Waututh peoples of this area. That is, for me, the first point of reference. Whose country am I in and what are the stories of this land? I think my creative practice started probably with weaving, and I learnt traditional basketry from Aunty Linda Turner from Gippsland when I was living down there. Not on my own country, but same style of weaving. And then I used to teach that, and I got into a little bit of painting and printmaking, and then I started working with possum skin cloaks, and I've been doing that for the last 20 years. Possum skin cloaks are really significant items in our southeastern Aboriginal culture. They've now become re-established in a significant cultural practice in our contemporary Aboriginal communities today. We use them for warmth, to sleep in. Families carried your babies in them. People were buried in them, and in between that they accompanied you through your life or ceremony. So they were utilitarian as well as like regalia for your ceremonies. And women, we used to stretch them across our knees and do drumming on them when the men were dancing in corroboree. So they're really significant and of high value. There is the fibres in possum fur are hollow, so they keep you warmer and drier, and the fur doesn't freeze like polar bears. So, I had a talk with one of the uncles in Adelaide from the Ghana people, Uncle Lewis O'Brien, and we both reckon that's how we survived some of the ice ages, because the fur doesn't freeze. So it's very labour intensive in pre-European times, even now, but to hunt them and gather them and prepare them and sew, and so it would cost 2 stone axes for one possum cloak when in our pre-European trade times. 2 of the historical cloaks that are in the Melbourne Museum, one is a Yorta Yorta cloak and one is a Gunditjmara cloak, which is my people from my grandmother's country, and that's got 50 skins, and the Yorta Yorta one's got 80. But it was my encounter with the cloak, the late Conda cloak it's known as, from my grandmother's country, that I had a very profound spiritual experience, and the ancestors who made that cloak gifted me with a vision of the cloak's belonging and living back in community because of settler colonisation practices, which are the same here, where our culture was oppressed and we weren't allowed and punished for doing things. So a few people have made them on and off over the years, but it had gone into sleeping as a cultural practice. So I was very fortunate, along with my sister and some other women, to be leading that reintroduction of the practice, and so now it's become an iconic thing for southeastern Australia. Part of the journey of the revitalisation and remembering and reclamation of this practice, we participated in the 2006 Commonwealth Games opening ceremony that was held in Melbourne, and we worked with most of the language groups and tribes across the state of Victoria. And so an elder or a community representative wore a cloak representing their tribe in the opening ceremony. They felt really strongly about such a coming together of people in one heart and one spirit. Was one of the aunties said, we're here in one heart and one spirit, and it's the first time in like about 170 years that a group of Aboriginal people have been together in ceremony, and it was one of their proudest moments. None of us will ever forget it. Story is what the whole world is made up of, and it tells us who we are and where we belong, and holds our history, our past, present and future. I really enjoy that giving back because I'm here doing my thing. It's a privilege and an honour, and in our culture it's also an important thing to give back. So with doing those programs and sharing our story, I'm honouring that practice of reciprocity. It's been a pretty amazing journey, and here I am at the Blue Cabin, so that's awesome.